Hello everyone, this is Shiva Prasad. Today let us explore the topic of tokens in C programming. From this set of topics, tokens emphasize the entry point into the C programming world. Now let's see what is token. Tokens are the collections of keywords, identifiers, variables and constants. So now this topics comes into the picture. Let us explore these topics in brief. Now coming to the keywords, keywords are the predefined reserved words that are known only to the compiler. And now let us take an example of students data into the programming. The programmer is supposed to include the name of the student's register number within the program. Now he will be choosing certain that is keywords, so-called char and int, so that represents character and integer. So for name it is a collection of character or string we used to call that, and we will be including character as a keyword to represent name, and similarly integer as another keyword to represent the register number. So here integer and character are the data types as well as the keywords which are only known to the compiler. So to include any data, we supposed to include these keywords within the programming. Now coming to the rules to be followed for the keywords. In general, keywords are there are 32 keywords in C. So every keyword is supposed to be a lowercase letter, no upper cases allowed. Example, say for example, integer, character and float. So this can be taken only in the lowercase letters, and you cannot you are not supposed to use this keywords as a name of the variable and for the constants and functions and array names as well. So which means that the keywords has a special meaning which are known only to the compiler. And now as stated, we have 32 keywords. From the beginner point of view, the students will be knowing integer, character and float, starting from auto, break and character, constant, continue, default, and all the sets of 32 keywords. Everything will come into the picture as the topics moves on. Now coming to the identifiers. So these are nothing but the user defined name of an entity. So the programmer, for his convenience, is supposed to include the entity for the different types of data to be entered. So here, say for example, under the programming, under the main function, so here the programmer will be choosing the character name. So here the name or the name of the student, whatever the thing may be. So this name represents the entity, and followed by the register number also that makes the entity. So here two different types of data, that is name and register number, we are supposed to include in this program. And now we will be using the user defined name, that has name as well as register number. So here it is totally customizable by the programmer. So we need to follow certain unique rules for the identifier similar to that keyword and other token topics. Now coming to the rules for the identifiers. So here the letters, numbers and underscores are allowed. Letters both uppercase and lowercase both are applicable over here. And another important rules to be followed is the starting supposed to be that is letters and underscore only, whereas numbers are not allowed. And apart from that, no special symbols are allowed, and no white space are allowed. Instead we can use underscore. And here no keywords are supposed to be used as identifiers. This already we have seen. So keyword, it has its own specific meaning, it does its own task. So we should not club keyword as well as identifiers. Now coming to the variables. So this is an important topic that comes under token. So these are nothing but the varying input data, we can mention that as. And this is going to allocate the memory location for the data fed by the programmer. Say for example, the syntax followed here is the data type followed with that is variable name. So here the variable name can be user customizable one. Say for example, if we need to include three different datas under the variable name of a, b and c, so this represents variable names under the data type of integer. You can we can make include data of different data types. So here the variables are the varying input data that is totally customizable by the users. So here int is the data type and a, b, c are the variables. Now here coming into the programming, so here the same example of a student's data is considered, and here character name. So the name will be the that is name of the students, and the result, here we need to store the result of the particular student. So here we assign another variable name called result, that is equal to 93. So now the result is a variable name, and also similarly the company will allocate memory for the data of 93 to be included under the variable name of results. So here the example of int result is equal to 93, that is we are terminating with that semicolon. So here int is the data type, result is the name of the variable which we have chosen. Maybe the programmer can choose any means of variable, say for example int r also can be also taken, that is equal to the value supposed to be stored under this variable name. So here make sure that to declare a variable we should have a data type, and also if any value are supposed to be assigned, you can make use of equal to as well as any of the data. And here the name and the register number are the variables as well as identifiers, so both are customizable by the users. And the rules to be followed for variables are, so this includes letters, both upper lowercase, numbers, underscores all are allowed, and the starting point should be letters or underscores, but should not be numbers. So numbers are not allowed to start any variables name, and no special symbols are allowed. White space are not allowed, so instead underscore can be used, and no keywords can be clubbed with variables. So these are the rules to be followed to create a variables. And now we have certain variable invariable name for better understanding. So as per the rules, so a can be taken as a valid variable, underscore ab, and a30, so it's alphanumeric, can be also taken. Invalid, no numbers are allowed, a white space, and keywords you cannot club with a variable name. So these are all the important rules to be followed to ensure the variable declaration. And in general we have different types, that is local, global, static, automatic, external. Mostly we will be using a local variable, so which are the variable that comes under the main function, that are nothing but local variables. And if we are using outside the function of for the entire programming, we declare the variable outside the main function, so called global variable. So these are all the two important types we'll be very often using in the C programming, and the rest are very quite similar. And now coming to the constant, so unlike variables, so this is nothing but a fixed input data. So this is also going to allocate memory location for the fixed data. So here the syntax to be followed is similar to variables. So here we need to include data type, any constant name that is customizable by the user. And before to that we supposed to include one of the important keyword called const. So when the const keyword is included to this syntax, so the obviously you can we can include a constant name of any fixed value to be used for the entire program. Say for an example, if we use a const int a is equal to 10, so in the previous example we have taken example of int a is equal to 10, which means that a holds the value of 10. It can be varied by the user, but when you add const to that, the a becomes the constant which will take only the value of 10 throughout the entire program. So const is a fixed input data. Depending upon situation, the program is supposed to use that. So yeah, the keyword supposed to be used over here, and a is nothing but the a becomes a constant over here now. And so here within the program of students data, so character name, and here constant int result is equal to 93. So here the 93 becomes a constant under the name of result with the inclusion of const keyword. So here the result becomes a constant after the inclusion of keyword called const. So here one of the keyword from the 32 keyword, const comes into the picture. To create a constant, we follow two different methods. One is by using the constant keyword we have seen in the example itself, and another way to declare a constant is to ensure that is hash defined. So here the preprocessor defined, so which by the way of preprocessor we can define a constant very near to the that is header file. So by the way you can create a constant. Let us go with the syntax. So here based on the keyword inclusion, so we need to include const along with the data type and constant name with assigned with the value, so that becomes a constant. So for an example, const int x is equal to 10. So 10 is a constant, integer constant of data type integer. So with the inclusion of constant, so now the 10 is the constant, the 10 is the constant value assigned to x, so which will be retained throughout the program. And now coming over here, maybe the same x is equal to 10, or you can prefer any examples like pi equal to 3.14. So if any of the programming part requires a pi value to be fixed for throughout the program, so we can include the preprocessor define any, that is the name, that is constant name, and within the space the value of that. So this will ensure that the under the name of pi, 3.14 will be written throughout the program. So by these two ways you can create a constant. And now let us go with a program to understand the token topics in a better way. So here this is the program to find the area of a circle. So the logic behind the program is all about to calculate area. So we will be using the formula pi r square. It is well known from the mathematical point of view. So here the programming starts from the as usual header file. So the preprocessor directive hashtag include standard io.h. So standard input output h. This is a header file. So any program supposed to start with a header file. So we need to declare a main function. So the main function is of integer data type, and so you need to include the return 0 at the bottom also, and even sometimes a void also can be declared. And here so we supposed to that is include all the specific data. So first of all, since we have pi over here, pi is a constant value we have to use throughout the program. So here we need to declare the pi value, that is 3.14 assigned to pi so of floating data type, so by using the const keyword. So here the pi is of floating data type with the inclusion of const as a keyword. So now the pi holds the constant value of 3.14 throughout the program. So that emphasizes the constant declaration. And in the second line, and so here we'll be finding int radius. So now the radius is another variable and of the data type int, so which takes the value 5. So here the input is the variable declaration. So this is the command line I have given you over here. And now the third comes the, that is float area. So area is the variable that is of the data type float. So here we are using float, integer, and as well as float data types to ensure the data storage. And now the logic is all about area is equal to pi r square. So we define that by the name called area, that is equal to pi into radius because these are all the variables we have assigned over here. So this is totally customizable based on the initialization. And now this logic is going to calculate the area of the circle. And now coming to the output part, so we need to ensure that the making use of the IO function, that is printf. And so you need to declare the radius what been assigned in the programming. And the second printf, this will that is print the pi value, that is 3.14. so after that, printf area of the circle is equal to, that is we have used 0.2f precision of that is format specifier over here. So everywhere we need to include the format specifier to ensure that the data is properly that is displayed. And so now the area, so area holds the value of pi into radius, so which means that any of the radius it is assigned, that is already we have declared as pi into 3.14. so that is going to ensure the area of the circle as 78.50 with the precision of, that is 0.2, so 2 points after the precision. So from this program we can ensure that the topic of tokens starting from this keyword, and that is constant, variable, and all those things can be that is seen as an example under this program. So with this program, let me sign off this topic. Thank you all.